Selena, she
Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing today, Marie, on this Sunday morning?
Well, I'm good. It's looking like it's going to be pretty rotten weather out there. So hopefully everybody's staying in and watching this today.
Right? I'm going to pull me off the screen. I want to show you one of these beautiful places that are for rent somewhere. So, I just pulled a picture off the internet. But this is for real. Some of the places are not looking too far off of this. I mean, wouldn't you love to move?
Yeah.
Was that beautiful or what?
I've seen pictures. Yeah, I have, where people were sending them to me to show me that, like, look at this. This has been like this for over a year, and it'll be an open ceiling with a wire and water damage clearly around it too. So you wonder, right? Is there anybody ever inspecting any of these rentals? Probably not. Clearly not.
There's not. So we're going to get right into a Mary Campbell News article regarding basically meeting the landlords of Cape Breton. So Mary did an article back on July 26th, and we're going to share the article. I'm going to put the link for the article so you can follow along on your own screens or look at it down the road. We've got a lot of information for you today, guys, so bear with us. It is an informative show that you're going to want to share, because if you're a renter here in Cape Breton or a renter anywhere in Canada, this information will help your family, your friends, and everybody who rents. All right, Marie, go ahead and start the show off this morning with our Mary Campbell Spectator article about landlords.
All right. So it's the business section, the Cape Breton Spectator. Meet the landlord. Nicole Sullivan has a story in the Post about a CBRM landlord who has informed his tenants he will no longer be supplying oil to their units because the costs have quadrupled, and this will no longer be a part of your rental income. I think he means no longer be a part of your rent. He's the one with the rental income after all, right?
All right.
Sullivan reached... Yeah.
Right there. So right off the hop, we're going to show you a reference from the Dalhousie rental guide that we're going to be sharing with you, and the novascotia.ca tenancy section, which states that if they change any of the terms originally on your lease or agreement that you had when you first moved in, like an increase in your oil or a decrease or no longer using it, that is a rent increase. And there's things you can do about that. Carry on, Marie. Sorry.
Yep. No, that's good. I want, as soon as you see it, yes, let them know what these rights are, because I don't think anyone's aware of their rights. They're so scared and bullied on this island, they're afraid to enforce their rights. But anyway, Sullivan reaches out to Service Nova Scotia to confirm that removing heat from rent is considered both a removal of service and a rent increase. And if a landlord wishes to charge for heat where they didn't before, that increased cost must not exceed 2% per month. Regardless of the reason, tenants must be given 4 months' notice of any increase of rent. According to Sullivan's story, which is based on a letter to a tenant posted anonymously on Facebook, the landlord Ava K. Holdings not only failed to provide the necessary 4 months' notice, but raised rents from $1,250 to $1,500, a whopping 20% per month.
Wow. So stop there. 20% per month. Now, right now, during the pandemic, do you remember the number of what they're legally allowed to increase your rent right now, Marie?
I believe it was 2 or 3%. Two.
Till December 31st, 2023. After December 31st, 2023, and we're going to show you the law and the legislation right from the department, the government, tenancy board, Dalhousie legal team, all of them are showing this information. It will change on January 1st, 2024 to 5%. Yep. Carry on, Marie.
Yeah. Okay. So the province says tenants can file a complaint with the residential tenancy program, but as Sullivan notes, complaints cannot be filed anonymously, and the 5 tenants she spoke with asked not to be named for fear of losing their homes. We all know this happens, guys. You're all afraid to call into the tenancy board because the bullies out there get together, and we all know what they do, right? They don't want to rent to us then because we're speaking out about our rights. So
Exactly.
some feared being subjected to tactics the landlord has allegedly used in the past with tenants who were behind on rent or considered problematic, as reported in the Post. These tactics included removal of front doors in winter and damage to Nova Scotia power equipment, which resulted in no electricity for the unit.
Now stop there. You know what comes to mind when you read that? The
Wow.
Rockcliffe apartment buildings. That's a massive,
Yeah.
huge apartment complex with little townhouse type structures up behind the. It's off of oh god, I can't, Macaulay's Lane,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it intersects with Reeves Street in Sydney. I used to live on Tillock Drive, which is right behind there. All right, I lived there for a long time. So these places have been in Cape Breton for a long time, and this new owner that's had them for I think 5 or 6 years now is a complete, oh my god, you got to be crazy to rent from them. Let's carry on.
But you don't have a choice, so you have to. And this is the worst part of everything. And why, boy, we need people to start standing up and sticking together and speaking out and
Yes.
stop letting this fucking shit happen.
Because
So,
the landlords are taking control, and they are literally have no problem ruining somebody's life for profit. And we'll show you that too.
oh, for sure. So Sullivan doesn't name the owner of Ava K Holdings, so I made a little visit to the Nova Scotia Registry of Joint Stock Companies and discovered he's Chris Neville, and he's been in the rental business since at least 2019.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That's him. He's also graced these pages before, back in March 2022, when I reported on his dispute with David Morgan of Celtic Air, with whom he co-owns a Quebec charter service called AIX Air. So then she shows Chris Neville there in his lovely little photograph. And of course, we've got I'm noticing his friends there, Amanda McDougall Merrill and the Honorable David C. Dingwall, his couple.
What? Those are his friends?
Well, they're there underneath there. I don't know. They're following him, I guess, maybe just. Anyway,
Okay.
Neville's LinkedIn profile refers to AVK Holdings as a family office, a term generally applied to a privately held company handling investments for a single wealthy family. I don't think AVK Holdings is a family office. I think it's a garden variety limited company. And his bio veers back and forth between the first and third person like a work of experimental fiction. Chris Neville is a native of Sydney, Nova Scotia. He earned degrees in psychology and marketing from Cape Breton University and an MBA in finance from the University of New Brunswick. Chris has been an entrepreneur, a business owner for over 22 years. He has started 8 companies since graduating university. 5 of his companies have been acquired by competitors and 2 by publicly traded entities. A main focus of his business ventures has been real estate development, where he has amassed a 9-figure portfolio worldwide.
Wow. Isn't he
Imagine? Chris was a founding partner at Global Daily Fantasy Inc., a public company on the Toronto Stock Exchange, symbol DFS. At Global Daily Fantasy, prior to my exit, he built the core team, created and executed on business plan, and took the company public on the TSX. After exiting Global Daily Fantasy Inc. in December 2017, Chris launched a second public company with an influencer-based online gambling strategy, where I negotiated a sale for the shareholders of $630 million. What is this? Currently, I continue to build on my 300 apartment building portfolio, and I'm aggressively working as a VC with startups worldwide.
Wow. So this guy is looking to take over the world and frig people over anywhere he can, any chance he can. Great job giving him the skills to do so, CBU. Wow.
Yeah, thanks. Well, we can see, they're all working together here. Elsewhere,
they don't know who they're training with their skills, who's going to be shady and who's not. So, I mean, let's reverse that.
I know.
And apologies. Okay.
Yeah, but because we know certain things that others don't possibly, but
yeah.
Elsewhere, he says he owns 158 rental complexes across Sydney, North Sydney, and Sydney Mines, and 104 rental townhouse properties in Nova Scotia, and is always looking for more if the right buy is in the marketplace.
Yep.
People defending the interests of landlords always focus on the little old lady renting out her basement or the couple renting out the apartments above their garage. But in this province, where there are 300,000 tenants and only 6,000 landlords,
wow.
Neville may be more representative of the species.
My God, could you imagine 300,000 tenants and only 6,000 landlords? What an unfair number.
An average is what 50 units per 50 landlords? What is that? I forget now. I've done the math on it before, but nonetheless, the point is I
is.
think we have little choice of where to rent from, and they're getting worse, not better. They're becoming more of a bully to everyone, as you're going to let us know, Janet. There's some things out there. I mean, I know myself, I've been through things. And later on, we're going to meet Selena, I hope, and
Yeah,
she'll let us know hers.
sending her the link. Go ahead.
But before we do any of that, like maybe first we should let everyone know about some of the scams that are out there, right? Like you have one on your page. I just shared this morning on mine that was like unbelievable to me when I heard that that poor woman had such a runaround from somebody that clearly,
Kyla Arsenault. So we're going to show
yeah,
you some pictures. This is pictures
yeah,
that you'd most certainly want to embed in your head and share. Good morning, Sandra, because these are two people that are saying they're part of a rental agency and they
yeah,
are doing the community some good. Now, the good that they're doing the community, actually, they must be the community because the only good they're doing is destroying people's lives
yeah.
for their own benefit. Okay. So hold on. I got to do it a little differently because it kept making it so it wasn't showing them clearly. And I want to make sure that people can clearly see their mugs and we want to make them famous. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like this person, it's not her first rodeo at all, clearly, when she's scamming this poor woman for her money, for her deposit.
Right.
And unfortunately, with the way people are desperately they're feeling desperate because they're thrown out from their rentals. They're giving sometimes only 30 days.
So let's introduce this lady, okay? And we're going to show a picture of this woman's name is Lisa. And on Facebook, she apparently goes by Boxer Lisa, all right? So Boxer Lisa has a partner. Her accomplice, his name is Jordan Simon. We want to make sure that we can show, sorry, Marie,
No worries.
both of these people. So hold on here. I got to
get a good picture of them because I think people need to know because they have the nerve to actually meet up with people in a coffee shop to collect the money from you.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst part of it. It was like, of course you would think you could trust them. They actually showed their face to you. They showed up at a coffee shop. Oh, you'll tell people in a minute.
And they talk about trust. The more you hear the word I've rented, me and Marie are longtime renters, okay? Not our first radio. We've signed several leases, dozens throughout our lifetime. Yes. And I've never, ever, ever heard the word, oh, you must trust me. That right there, the word trust is the word that should alert you as red flag. Run! Because if they need to trust them, that is your first sign. So do you see this picture?
It's a business. It's a business. As everyone keeps reminding me, all the landlords want to remind me of that it is a business, Marie. Okay, well, you can't just go by trust in a business, can you?
Marie, these guys aren't even landlords. They're posers.
They're not even, they don't even own anything as far as we can tell.
Are posing as landlords, saying that they have a rental unit. And you can go on Cape Breton Local, go on Joe Ward's own personal site, go to Kyla Arsenault's personal Facebook site, and that's where this story comes from. It came from her. This is a young couple that have a child. This woman met with this couple and was promising them everything. And then everything changed. So let's find out what things you should watch for when it comes to dealing with people like these. And I really hate to take their picture off because we have to make sure everybody in Cape Breton knows their faces. They don't deserve to not be known. Honest to God. Like these people, hold on, I'm going to pull us all off. I want you to get a better look at her. We'll be quiet for a minute, Marie, because now, I hope that woman's face haunts you and you never forget her. Or remember, Lisa, Boxer Lisa, and her accomplice, the man in the picture beside her, was Jordan Simon. Those two pieces of scum are not landlords. They own nothing. And they actually are giving the landlord that they own in the trailer park a real hard time. Now, we've got a backstage participant right now. Her name is Selena. She wants to share with you an actual story So Selena's going to share with us all. Hi,
Selena.
Selena. Good morning and welcome on to Cape Breton Original Show about rental scams this morning. So we're going to let you take the stage and you're going to tell everybody exactly what happened with your particular landlord rental nightmare. So go ahead, darling, and thanks for sharing.
Hi. So mine wouldn't necessarily fall under the scam category, I guess. But basically, I moved to Cape Breton in September 2021. And I went through a rental agency and ended up in this nice big place. It was $1,400 all inclusive. And it was great for me and my family. When we moved in, it was filthy, absolutely filthy. I spent probably 16 to 20 hours cleaning it, including like a centimeter thick of bacon grease underneath the stove elements. The countertop required 2 magic erasers to scrub it clean, and, etc. It just went on and on with how dirty it was. Yeah. Now, I kind of gave it a bit of a pass because I was paying $1,400 a month with everything included. I had just driven across the entire country from Vancouver Island to Nanaimo. And the last thing I wanted to do was find another place. So I just, bit the bullet or whatever. So then my landlord is a teacher in Winnipeg. So he comes home to Cape Breton every summer to be with his kids, and we have to move out. Now, at first, this seemed fine because we were planning on buying a house, and we hoped to buy it before the summer came up, but things changed. Mortgage rules changed, and then employment changed, and just, things changed. So we moved out, we moved back in, and the first time we moved out, moved back in, things were okay. Now, we did this again this past summer. And before I moved out this past summer, I gave the landlord a list of things that needed to be repaired and fixed. And one of the things on the list was rats. So we've had rats for a significant amount of time. They've been slowly, sort of taken care of, a little bit of poison here, a little bit of poison there. But this spring, it got to the point where the rats definitely needed to be taken care of. So when the landlord arrived, he had the list to deal with over the summer. He didn't deal with the rats. We kept our stuff in the house over the summer. We agreed that would be okay. And I came to visit at one point during the summer, and I could see that the rats had actually gotten in the house. I have cats, so the cats have kept them out of the house most of the time we've been there. I could hear them in the walls. I knew they were in the crawl space. And every once in a while, I saw them run across the driveway as I came home, and I could see the entry hole in and out of the house. Or out of the crawl space, I mean. So I visited, and I could see that the rats had chewed through one of the holes that I had stuffed. And I could smell them. And I said to the landlord, the rats are in the house. They're in the actual house. This was at the beginning of the summer that I told him this. At the end of the summer, we came back, and he hadn't cleaned up after himself. There was a package of crackers in my son's room, which had literally been eaten open by rats. You could tell they had been nibbled by rats. So he didn't deal with the rats the whole summer. On his way to the airport, he called the exterminator and then sent me the exterminator's name and number. So I called the exterminator. The rats have now been taken care of. In the meantime, with all of this, several months ago, he told us he wanted to not renew our lease after the summer, and that he wanted to get students in because he wanted to charge more money. So I said, well, the rental market's really tough right now. Let me try to find another place. And if I can't find another place, then we'll pay the price that you're going to ask the students. So, of course, I was kind of hoping he'd, 1, change his mind. And 2, I'd actually said to him, we had part of the reason why I didn't see a lot of these red flags was because we had a property manager for 2 years. And the property manager kind of was that go-between that kind of blocked me from how scummy this guy was. Right. So I said to him, look, I'm capable of making phone calls. I've owned 3 homes in my life. You're capable of making phone calls. Why don't you let the property manager go and give me the savings in the rent, right? Because you're going to charge me this extra rent. Just give me those savings. So he didn't really agree to it. He kind of hummed and hawed. At that point, he hadn't even necessarily said that he was going to fire the property manager. He had said, though, that he had paid the property manager much too much money. So then August rolls around, and I'm anxious. I need to know that I have a place to move into in September. So I'm like, let's sign this lease. Like, let's get the lease done. And in the meantime, I would have called him a friend. But I was hoping that he was going to, like I said, change his mind or give me some sort of discount or whatever. So the lease came, and no, he fired the property manager and still upped the rent by $600.
Wow.
$2,000 a month, which obviously is illegal, but there is a bit of a loophole in the fact that if I didn't agree to it, I'd be homeless. So, because he would have just brought students in. He wouldn't have renewed my lease. So I had time to look. I also run a rental Facebook page. And in the 8 months leading up to this, I didn't find anything. There was nothing available.
Magic.
How
And you
terrifying.
run a page, yeah.
And do you have pets, Selena?
I have 2 cats.
Yes.
So that also
That's a
makes
big
things
problem.
very difficult.
No. Can you tell me, with being a pet owner, even something like a cat, never mind dogs, because I find they're a little more lenient, or can be, with a cat. But right now, it doesn't matter if you have a hamster. A pet is a pet, and it just makes it 100 times harder. Would you agree?
Absolutely, it does. I always want to be upfront with the fact that I have pets, because I don't want to be kicked out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have had so many messages, like I've applied to so many places that said anything that said no pets, I just didn't bother, because I know how hard it is to get a place. And other places that didn't necessarily say no pets, as soon as I said I had cats, they just ghosted me.
Because there's a huge list of people that students don't come with pets. Students come with extra rent, no pets, and they can make such a huge profit off them. So it's like,
and they don't know their rights. So of course, right? Who are they going to pick? Selena with her cat, or the fellow with no rights and willing to pay more? I see the problem. I mean, but how cruel was that to do to you when, like you said, you considered him a friend?
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't have any bad will towards him. You understood he was just, making some money off of your rental. Fine. You wouldn't even maintain it.
So
no, he didn't.
Comment here. Hold on. I want to just clarify something here for Jonna Burton. So Jonna Burton, can you clarify what 29 Main is? Would 29 Main be the custom trailer park address where the posing landlord is that is getting away with scamming potentially hundreds of Cape Bretoners? This story that this one tells, her and her guy, her partner in crime, are literally, I don't know how the fraud alert team, the RCMP, are not busting down that door, because they're not even landlords. They are literally scamming people by the handfuls, and they are that good at it. Yes, it is. Thank you, Jonna. That ought to help, because Cape Breton's an awful friendly little island, and I don't care what people think about this address being shown. I'm just informing the public of dangers. And these people are a complete danger to anybody who is looking to rent, especially students, especially people who are poor. Poor people getting put to the homeless side because they've parted with their money with these 2 shady scamsters. I have no worries of feeling bad for them. Don't care.
No, and like we said, there you have the entire message system there, the whole thread of the scam that was taking place for that family with the autistic girl, where they're literally in a U-Haul. They're in a hotel. The woman is aware of this. She won't give them back the deposit. They signed a supposed lease online, or no, it was verbal. It was only verbal.
Yeah.
And they were taking that money and not giving it back. And you'll have to see it, you yourself, Selena. I don't know if you saw this, but it was insane. You'll have to see the thread. I've never heard such a complex situation as we have right now in Cape Breton Island, where people are in such desperate need because they're being thrown out when the landlord decides he can get more with students in. Selena was a victim to it. I was a victim to it. Yeah. It's getting out of hand because we don't feel like we have any recourse, right? Like, I know myself, until I felt safe, I couldn't say anything out loud or anything about what was happening to me.
Well, absolutely. I'm in a new place now. The only reason why I'm on this phone call is because I'm in a new place where I feel safe now. And I was actually invited to speak to the NDP leadership here in Cape Breton. And I said no, because I didn't want to mess up my chances of getting a new place.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this was mentioned before, but I actually run 2 Facebook pages. One is at Cape Breton or Rentals in the CBRM, and the other one is, sorry, it's Cape Breton Rentals, not that the other. And the other one is
Right, right.
Shady Landlords of the CBRM. So I run a page where people come in and tell stories about their shady landlords. And these people are scared to say things, which obviously, so the amount of private messages I get from people being scammed by
Mhm.
various landlords around the region is absolutely
You
disgusting.
and me both. Yes,
Yeah.
it's become overwhelming. My phone is filled. I let the mayor and the council know. They have the names of these landlords, I'm going to tell you right now, but they don't seem to be too concerned about it. I guess because they're probably collecting money during election time. Because why would they not want to look into it when they know one landlord owns over 50 properties? We got a problem if they know who that is and they don't want to collect up some information and make this stop. You know?
Yeah.
All right.
So
I have shared here. People, if you do want to join Selena's pages, she's got the Cape Breton Rentals and she has Shady Landlords of Cape Breton. Okay.
Shady
CBRM.
Landlords of CBRM.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Of the CBRM. But yeah, they're easy enough to find and they are growing because as we know, the problem is growing. It's not getting any better. Nobody's speaking up enough. And we know you have fear, but we need to do this in numbers. We can't just have one and, we can't have them playing whack-a-mole with us. We need to come together. And in groups like Selena's and ours, we're going to do this. We're going to make this happen. The Citizens Assembly will be on the 12th, and I'm sure I'll be bringing information in about that once it gets underway.
So wait,
But we
the
have a lot.
Citizens Assembly is going to happen there. If you want to be part of it, if they haven't fulfilled their 100, it's with the Nova Scotia Equalization for Fairness. It's with Russ Green, Charles Sampson, Dr. Father Albert Maroon. They're going to be having their first meeting for the Citizens 100. It's going to involve every entity that is involved here in Cape Breton and that wants the community to better itself. It's at Center 200, October 12th at 7:00. Marie's going to be there, and she's going to live stream it. We hope and share it with us.
We'll see.
Because,
Let's see what they allow.
I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm going to try, but I don't know yet.
I bet if we could.
In the meantime, I've got a little slideshow here that I want to share with everybody so that we can help you know what these scams are when you see them, what to look for, what the flags are, and things of that nature. So hold on. I'll get that queued up.
Mhm.
We can get that shared as well. Because things like this, if we don't educate ourselves, we're never going to be able to stop these people from taking advantage of us desperate people. And let's face it, if you're looking for a rental right now, we're desperate because there's no rent. We've got more people than units, and that is absolutely terrifying. So as you'll see here, how to avoid rental scams, okay? So when you're looking to find a place, the very first thing is you need to remember is there's scammers everywhere. The second you post that ad online, you've alerted every single person that's a shady opposer, that's a bad landlord. And they're not all bad. Let's face it. There
Not
are
all.
good landlords. I'm happy currently with my landlord. All right. So let's make
My
that
current
clear.
landlord's
So far,
fantastic.
and so far for Selena too. So yes.
And Marie's landlord scared her right into buying a house. So
I don't like to let that known because then everybody comes at me. Why are you even bothering with this? Are you renting to people? No, because you know what? My house is not suitable enough to have people in it. And I'm aware of that. I wouldn't make people share one bathroom with myself and my boyfriend and 5 or 6 or 7 other people like the rest of people seem to like to do.
You're not in college, and why should you have to even think about sharing your bathroom? You're lucky
Oh,
you rent it to,
you know,
frig
I would
that.
like to help, but I mean, honestly, like I really wouldn't do it to them because, you know, I need things done in this house. I'm aware of that and I can't do them right away. And,
All right.
and even if I could, I wouldn't, right? It's just not me.
Never
I
mind
don't
all
like to
that.
lord over people.
Never mind that, Marie. You don't need to worry about living out of peace in your own home, okay?
I know, right? And feeling guilty. But anyway.
You know. So let's talk about what you do need to worry about. You never, ever send money or trust a stranger online.
Right.
Like I said earlier, the second you hear the words trust me are the time that your spidey senses should be this far off your back. Never trust somebody who tells you to trust them.
Just trust me.
If you've met people enough times in your lifetime, you can get a good sense of how a person is. But the second they start saying, trust me, whoa, now I don't trust you. All right. There's your first sign. Next. Okay. Never. And this goes for if you even meet them in a coffee shop. So they meet you online. You're going to meet them in person. And then again, you hear the words, trust me. Don't. All right, are we back?
Yep.
We've got some serious wind out there today, so we may have.
I'm in New Aberdeen, so it's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got internet issues. Apologies for that, guys. We can't control the weather, but we can control whether or not you're educated about the rental issues going on.
Right.
So next point of interest here: never accept an emailed lease. They're fake. 100% they're fake, because everything is done with a lease. Have you ever seen an emailed lease, Marie?
Well, I've seen an attempt at an email lease, and I would not sign it because it didn't matter to me anyway. I knew it wasn't legally binding to a point, but no, you do not do that. I mean, as soon as you start signing things online, you've possibly committed yourself to something that you can't get out of. You need to meet the person in person. You need to see the place you're actually going to be leasing, and you need to freaking well go over that lease with a fine-tooth comb.
Hold on. No, it's just a yes or no. So, Selena, yes or no? Have you ever seen a lease in an email?
Yeah. So actually, the lease in an email, it's sort of a tricky thing. If you do get a lease in an email, make sure that it's actually a PDF that is from the Nova Scotia Tenancy Board.
No.
And then print it.
Well, wait now, Janet, wait.
No. You print it and you have a hard copy. And those two hard copies, you need to have two of them, and you and your landlord need to sign them in front of each other. So
okay.
If you get an email, that's the only way an email lease is okay, because it's literally coming straight from the Tenancy Act website, and that's how it's being sent to you. But if it's not printed and in paper copy and signed in front of you, then it's not legal.
Here's a flag. Right. So here's the first flag. Leases are available for free at the Nova Scotia Tenancy Board, okay? The landlord can go in there and grab 100 copies of leases. If they are too cheap to go in and pick up and or print that lease off themselves, that's a flag. So don't listen. I know what you're saying is good information, Selena, but do not accept an emailed lease, because that is your first ticket to shit happening, all right? Take that as
they start making you sign something. They usually will try. I'm glad Selena didn't have that experience, but I know that they try to get you to sign it online. They try.
Don't sign it online. Don't sign it online.
Never online.
Paper copy, and it needs to be straight from the Nova Scotia Tenancy Board.
If they haven't got the time to commit to meeting you in person with the papered lease, what is your next problem?
Again, yes, right. You'll never get them in for maintenance if you can't even get them in to sign a lease with you. So come on.
The time for that, you're going to be shocked at the other things they don't have time for. All right. That's just my take on it. Let's go ahead with the next one. So the next thing that you're going to avoid, always go and look at your rental unit. Always. Because if you go there and there's somebody else currently living in it, well, that's a sign. That's a sign that, how do you know they're going to be out in time? You're going to be homeless because you're going to get story after story. There's COVID, there's death, there's sickness. There's something going on with that family why they can't get out. And guess whose problem it is now? Now you're out of your unit. You expected that unit, but there's no unit. There never was a unit in some cases. So you need to be very, very mindful of these little flags. As you go along the way, there's signs that will tell you things are going to get worse. If things are bad in the beginning, if your first meeting with the landlord, whether it's via email, whether it's a phone call, whether you don't meet up in person, there's definitely going to be, if you feel a little bit, something's not right, something's definitely not right. Okay.
Right.
You spy.
Now, I'm going to tell you one more thing they like to do is they like to send you pictures of the unit. Don't accept the pictures. You need to go see it, because that was a picture from maybe 1992 or something when it was beautifully done. Who knows when, right?
A picture of a real estate site. People sell homes all the time and they show the most beautiful homes on real estate sites. So if I'm looking to buy a home, and if I want to take the pictures that are on that realestate.ca site and use them on a rental site, who's going to know the difference except for maybe if you're this?
It happens all the time.
I've had people contact me and ask me, hey, does this look like a scam? I've reverse Google image the sites and I have found the house for sale. I've contacted the realtor that was selling the house and said, hey, this person's trying to rent out this house. Is this the actual owner? The realtor got back to me in an instant, was like, no, that person is not the owner. This house is not for rent. Jesus. And that is something you can do. Reverse Google image, find the realtor.
Great tip.
Great tip. Putting it in the comments. Reverse image, Google image. Yeah. Search.
Reverse Google image.
I'd like to clarify, with me getting that lease over email, I saw the house first. I saw the house first. I talked to the landlord. Then he sent me the lease. Then I printed it and we signed it in person together.
And that's the way it's got to be done these days. We used to go by trust me, because Cape Breton was always this way. We can't be that way anymore.
We can't, because how many people do we all know that have been scammed, lost money, have moved out, left to actually be homeless because there's people that just don't care about your situation. The only thing they care about is how much money you can send them. If you can't send me anything, you're next. And the rentals, it's so desperate here for a rental. They've got a list this long of other poor potential suckers or victims that they're going to try and suck in.
I know a lot. I know a lot of people won't even admit when they've been sucked in and given that money over without seeing anything. I know you're all out there and you've done it already, but don't do it anymore. You need to see. You need to actually see the place. And like Selena said, you got to actually sign it in person with the actual landlord. Do not be letting yourself get scammed any longer.
Don't just go to the driveway and look, because they'll have curtains drawn across the window, lines down. They could be working. The people could not be home. Get
all kinds of excuses.
Be sure to get inside the unit and inspect the unit, because if you can't get inside the unit, boom, that's another flag.
Absolutely.
Right?
Test your taps. Test the taps. I'm telling you, to make sure that things are actually working while that landlord's there too. It's getting ridiculous, the things I've been hearing, guys. That's all I can tell you.
You'll hear is the landlord's not local. Well, you know what? If the landlord's not local, they've always got somebody local that helps take care of their unit. There's property managers. Don't you ever accept the story or scam that they're not here and you need to do everything online. That's another flag of you're going to get scammed and be soonly dearly departed from you and your dollars. Don't fall. Yes. Next, never listen to their drama. Sometimes if it's the day that you're supposed to move in, you've got your rental truck, all your stuff's in the back, I got to go. Well, you know what? My mother just died. The driveway just fell apart. A rocket just come from the sky and smashed everything.
Believe what you'll hear.
You will not. The stories that are being told, COVID, deaths, they're out of town. Something came up with their child. Tell me the kind of excuses you've heard, ladies.
Oh my God. You go ahead, Selena, for one of yours.
Yeah. So a lot of them are just simply being out of town, not being able to come back right away because they're just, caught up with work, or they had somebody looking after the place, but they can't show up for whatever reason. Family emergency is a big one. Always family emergency.
Always family emergency. That's a big one. Yeah.
People feel for that, right? They know what it's like when there's a family emergency. So they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and because people are empathetic, and
that's right.
Emergency is the one I hear the most.
That's right. So you need to really be very vigilant of that, because people, again, the main goal here is to part you from your money. They don't care about, you could have one leg hanging from a thread of your hip and they won't care. Did you send that money? Is the money?
Believe me, my ex-landlord literally was calling the fella in the hospital who just had bypass surgery in Halifax. When can I come pick up that cash for my rent? Literally. In a hospital. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. And of course, it was 4 days early, as always, because my old landlord loved his early cash rent. Ironically, his father really did die when he took over. I had signed the lease with his dad, and his dad had passed. And he had the nerve to show up in person to ask during COVID, can he have cash? I wanted to give him an e-transfer. No, it has to be cash. Well, I don't have cash. Let's get in the truck together. I'm during COVID times. We weren't really in lockdown yet, but I'm in a truck with this fella when we knew we weren't supposed to be, to go get him cash on hand. As I'm in the truck, he starts telling me, I inherited over 50 properties. I'm going to have a lot of work ahead of me. I said, you got a lot of work at my place. I let him know there was so much stuff wrong, right? And he said, with the rent you're paying, you're pretty lucky right now.
Lucky.
And I knew then.
Hold on. I want to show them how lucky you were. I've got a little video that.
Oh, my favorite video that I love to share. And everybody, this is where I actually lived. We tried so many times to get him down there, and he wouldn't come down. So I sent him the video. He knew what was going on, would not do a thing.
So this is a 15-second video. I'm going to pull this off because the screen is small, and I like you to be able to see things, okay? So
this was it.
And it just leaks into my basement. I want to try to run something down here, but yeah, this is what I got to put up with during spring too, when we get that big thaw.
This was a particularly big rainfall we had, but every time it rained heavy, it was like this in my basement. We had black mold, and it's still filled with black mold. And I now know that there is a single mother with a son living in there right now.
Wow.
And if I can get a hold of her, I will be, to make sure she knows how to get a hold of me.
Be ashamed of himself. That's this name, Earl O'Neill. He's blocked me on Facebook because he doesn't like the truth being spoke about him. And unfortunately, Earl, unless you can prove I'm a liar, and I mean, that video speaks volumes. Marie was one of your tenants. Unfortunately,
I got our messages, Earl.
Mm-hmm. That is proof, Earl. So good luck to whatever you try.
You owe me my deposit, buddy.
Yeah, pay Marie back her deposit, Earl O'Neill, who inherited 50 properties, who was on Cape Breton Local telling people about how terrible it is that they're putting a 2% rent cap and only upping it to 5% back in January 2024. Yeah. Imagine, he got them all for free, and he's complaining that he can't put his rent up more because the profit isn't enough for him. I mean, he's already getting profit. He paid zero for 50 plus properties. Can you imagine? This is
who we're dealing with on this island. These are the people, okay? And people are coming at me like, I own 2 properties. Are you calling? I don't care how many you own. Do you take care of the property? Are you gouging the poor? Those are my questions to you. I don't give a crap what you own.
Are you making people homeless so that you can be more profitable? I mean, can you sleep at night?
Sorry.
Earl O'Neill should have nightmares. For real. And
you know it's horrible. So I've only touched the surface. I only told you about the rats and the dirtiness of the house. I haven't and the up in the rent. I haven't told you every detail about the place that I was in. I've posted complaining about some of these things. I'm careful. I don't say the landlord's name. And then I've had people absolutely desperately looking for rentals message me and say, hey, can you give me that landlord's name so that I can rent it? No.
Honestly, Celine, that's how desperate they are, man.
That's how desperate people are. And, the last message I got was like, hey, me and my son, we're trying to move out of this place that has rats and mice, but your place only has rats. So can we move in? No.
What a sin. Look, Brick Gillis posted on there. She said, Govind Singh owns over 100 slum properties all over Cape Breton. He also goes by the name of Sandy. Avoid him at all costs. So what she's saying is, you're going to end up renting a beautiful place that looks like, let me pull us down.
Possibly, but I've seen one with the ceiling out. I've seen one with the ceiling out. Mm-hmm. And my favorite, I have a friend, I won't say her actually, her name's Peachy. And my God, the rental she had literal mice in the light fixture. We have a video of it. I should probably post it if she'll allow it. I'll put it on if she allows me later. There's mice running around in the gosh darn light fixture above head. And she's saying, are you hearing them? And then right beside it, you can see where the smoke detector is, which had not been changed in 3 years. It's a hardwire smoke detector. The fire marshal came in and gave a warning to the landlady. And it was bad, okay, because nothing has ever been done since. She's still there because she's got till November 1st to find a new home because the landlady says that she would like to get students in.
Of course, because as we've already stated, students are being treated as cash cows, and they've got little teats on them that these landlords can't squeeze the milk into the cup fast enough. It's a bloody sin what they're doing to them poor students. Imagine being a parent, sending your child overseas and trusting that they're going to an amazing country like Canada and having them be treated like absolute scum. And there was a documentary that you sent me, Marie. These students, when they're lucky enough and they graduate, they may as well become our servants because those are the types of jobs they're getting. Very low level jobs that they can't get a high paying job unless they're married to somebody in a high paying position. I mean, it's insane what's going and what is being allowed here in Cape Breton and across Canada. And this documentary, which we could share the link of, Marie, if you want to pop that link into the comments.
I will do that later on for us. Because it is a good one. It's not the one everyone thinks. It's not the W5 one, guys. No. This one is from
India.
Yeah, and it's scary to me because it's getting worse.
Yes.
Nobody's stopping Dingwall from bringing more people here. Nobody's stopping anything from occurring.
Testimonials from students who've been here, who've graduated, who've applied for jobs, student upon student upon student upon student.
Throughout Canada, right? But like the one from CBRM really bothered me. She really hurt me. Hurt my heart.
It did, because she's $50,000 in debt right now, and nobody other than the students themselves who are facing the hardships, coming here thinking they're being promised the world, and I could cry thinking about it. These students are being treated like actual garbage, and it's not right. Being a parent and seeing what's happening in our rental agency, seeing my fellow Cape Bretoners on the street like Gail and her dogs, I can't. That's why we're doing this show.
Senior citizens thrown out so that the students can be taken further advantage of is what's happening, right? And if you see the documentary, you're going to see why she's so upset, because this is ridiculous. I watched it 3 times, like to get myself through it, to understand. This is literally what we're doing in Canada. This is Canada now, okay? I love Canada, and I love how generous and forthcoming we are and how generous. But this has gotten to a point where they've turned us against each other on this island in a way that we shouldn't be. We need to be working together as renters to make sure that things become a little bit more fair. And the only way to do that is strengthen numbers and to speak together to our representatives. One at a time is not doing a thing. Need to show up in numbers.
Exactly.
Because I'm getting sick of this.
Cape Breton look bad. They're making Canada look bad. And we all love Cape Breton, and we certainly love Canada. Okay. So we need to reclaim our reputation worldwide, but let alone worldwide, we need to get Cape Breton back to the beautiful, wonderful island that we've been known for, not this shady, scammy, slummy place that all these world news places and the students are experiencing here. This is their story too. Okay. It's not just ours, and we're not making it up. So next, posing as a landlord is our next topic here. So some supposed landlords are not even landlords. And that brings us back to the picture I told you that we need to make Jordan Simon and Boxer Lisa famous. Okay. We need to make sure everybody in the rental agencies, rental market, make sure that you see these names, you run as fast as you can, because they're criminals. All right. Next.
They don't even have anything to rent to you, but they are more than willing to take your e-transfer.
They are smooth operators. They know exactly what to say. They'll send you fake leases. They'll send you everything that you possibly could think of. They'll even copy and paste it right from the tenancy board, because you can trust them. You can trust them. All right. Look, this is Kyla Arsenal here. This is who Lisa Lannon is, the worst scanner. That's her last name, Lannon. Thank you for coming in and commenting, Kyla, so that people know exactly what is going on. Renters, especially students and young families. Like, we can't have people like Jordan and Lisa doing this to people here in this island and getting away with it, because somehow it's not a crime, because the police aren't taking any action. This is fraud. This is fraud in the worst, scumbaggiest kind of way that you can think of. All right. So we have to help each other and stop it. So Deborah says, I've already have my increase sent for me for next year. Wow. They didn't even put the taxes up yet. They're going up next month. Nobody even knows exactly how much it is, because I get a tax bill for my property. Marie gets a tax bill for her property, and we haven't gotten them yet. So how are they going to know? Sure is good to know, Britt. So we got to make sure you go through the video in the beginning and look at their pictures because we've shared them. All right. And you can see everything right on Willie Kyla Arsenal's page and be informed. That's how we're going to stop this from happening is we need to stick together, like Marie said. So next, how you're going to tell if the unit is not vacant, still looks lived in, and they give you an address to see, flag, run, okay? Knock on the door, talk to the people. If they're not there, wait, come back, all right? Don't trust anyone.
Find out, do you know you're moving at the end of the month? Because that's what we're being told. Just need to know. You're not harassing anyone by knocking on a door and asking a question, by the way.
That's right. So remember, there's always going to be an issue they'll come up with. There's COVID. There's a death in the family. There's a
they'll come up with anything. Oh, yeah, they're sick and they won't be there until the actual moving day because they got a child in the hospital was one I heard. You can stop. Like, oh my God.
This is a trick, a scam. They're shady characters, okay? And then there was never anything there for you to rent anyways. You were just part of their game of deceit. And to them, this game is so morbid that they literally are like, one. All right. So probably I'd say that they've got a little competition between each other, between Jordan and Boxer Lisa, Lisa Lannon. They are so scummy that they don't care who's homeless. They'd literally drive by you and your child on the road and be like, thanks for the money, suckers. That's kind of people these particular two are. Good morning.
Well, let's just read the thread. That's the way I felt too. I felt like, boy, they really wouldn't give a crap if they saw these people out there in the rain, in the ice. And they'd be like, oh, well, suckers. Because that's the way people are acting these days. And the ones that are coming at me on Facebook, I can't even believe the gall of some of them. They actually act like, who are you? Are you a communist or something? I'm just like, oh my God. I just want people to stop gouging and to stop taking advantage of one another. It's a very simple request, in my opinion.
So Carla is saying that 2 years ago, she used a different name to scam people, all for comforters. And I remember this comforter scam. I actually remember it. So what you need to remember is their faces, okay? Because they can change a lot of things, their name, but they sure can't change their mugs, all right? So that's the mug of criminals, and you don't want to forget their mugs. This link that I just shared is from novascotia.ca, letting you know about the rent cap increase. All right. It's going to give you and scammed a lot. Exactly. So I want to share. There's another one. It's a great one here from Dalhousie University. It's a great guide for rentals, and it's also some legal advice. Okay. So this is Dalhousie Legal Rights and Services, and it's regarding your rental rights here in the province of Nova Scotia. And that goes from one end of the province to the other. These are PDFs. These are something you need to read. Listen to what Selena said. She had great advice. Listen to what happened to Marie. Marie is also very well educated and reads a lot. Marie is out there. She's a personal community watchdog. And if you, if you've got anything that you ever think that is a concern to Cape Breton and its residents, you need to tune into our shows on Sirius Sunday. Thank you so much, Donna Lynn, for saying greatest information, ladies, and she's happy that we shared it today. All right, girls, that's my portion of the show. What do you want to share with everybody before we end?
Selena?
Well, I think that as you're going through the process of signing a lease, of looking at a place, follow all the information that's been given here, as well as feel free to ask around. People here know people, I was interested in a property that I was like a little bit iffy about, but I was able to ask online. I didn't end up going for this place, but I was able to ask online, and I found out it was completely legitimate. So, we know people here. I'm new. I don't know a lot of people, but, it's a small town. So ask around. For international students, get on your Cape Breton your CBU international page. Talk amongst people there. Come on to the rental page that I talked about and the shady landlord page that I talked about. Ask around. Do everything you need to do in the background, but don't give any money until you've seen the place in person. You've signed the lease in person, and you've done your homework. But in the meantime, ask around. Ask around, because people know, and these names keep popping up. Another thing too is a lot of them, there's questions you can ask specifically to find out almost instantly if they're a scam. Also, the other thing to know that here you can only ask for a half month's damage deposit.
Good point.
You cannot ask for any other deposit. There's no application deposit. There's no pet deposits here. Only half month. And you don't pay that half month until you've actually signed the lease.
There you go. Thank you for that, Celine. I forgot about that because in Ontario, it's first and last. They can only ask you for half of a month of rent as a deposit here.
And
Stop
no
allowing
pet
them to get
deposit
away
either.
with this.
And no pet deposit here either. No,
No,
first
no,
and
you're
last,
right.
no pet deposit, only a half a month, and no application deposit. The scammers all ask for an application deposit.
Right. That's a good red flag. If they're wanting an application deposit, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So get them off your list of rentals because they're not someone you're going to rent from.
Yeah.
Yeah. My ending on this is I'm going to end up finding that documentary so that any of the students watching can share that with the people back home who might be on their way here, because I think they definitely need to know about that.
They do need to know about that.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of important. They're not aware of what's happening, right? So
remember,
definitely need to let them know.
Information is only powerful if it gets to everybody who needs to know it. For your job today, viewers, everybody watching this video, you have to share this information because we provided the information and now we're banking on you. Literally non-fee banking, okay? Free banking on you.
Yeah.
To share this so that nobody else has to live through this nightmare that so many of us have had gone through, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you sharing and helping us keep informed. Yes, Donna, share, because we can't help people who are here, who are coming, if they don't know that this is going on. Guys, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was great seeing you, Selena.
Before you go, Selena, put in the comments the right name for your groups because sometimes I get a little anxious and excitable in here and I can not get it right. And I want to make sure people can find you because you've got some good stuff to offer people too for renting.
Got it.
Awesome.
Great, guys.
Have a great day, guys.
See you later.